ready, everyone?
Yep.
Are y'all ready? All right, we're calling to order the June 25th, 2025 meeting of the Geneva Area City Board of Education. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Here.
Mrs. Krieg.
Here.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Here.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Present.
And Mr. Pierson.
Here.
Are we in compliance with meeting requirements?
We are.
This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. If you're able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any correspondence this evening?
I do not have any.
I'll have a lot when it gets to me. But nothing there yet.
Okay. All right, we're going to waive the reading and approval of the minutes. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Motion.
No, go ahead.
Motion carries. Report of the interim superintendent, please.
Thank you. The Director of Food Service will be giving a summary of our 2024-2025 food service operation, along with a look at the plans for the 2025-2026 school year. So, Michele, please come on up.
Hello, good evening. Is this gonna fall? No, okay. Hi, I'm Michele Papik. I'm the Food Service Director here for Geneva. Usually, food service gives their end-of-year report in July, but I will be leaving the district as of Friday, so I'm doing my report here end of June. So just keep in mind that since we haven't closed out June yet, we still have summer school. Some of the numbers we review won't have June numbers in them yet, but we will have that updated hopefully for you next month. And before I get started, I do just want to say thank you to the board, to Dave, to Shelley, for the opportunity to work here for Geneva. It's been a pleasure. I've loved getting to know the community and all the food service staff, all of you, so thank you. And thank you for all the support. Okay, so I'll start with the year in review and then get into a look ahead for next year. So this year, we implemented the community eligibility provision, which I'll refer to as the CEP program, which is allowing all students to have free meals for breakfast and lunch at each building. Implementing the CEP program did have its pluses and minuses, which we'll talk about. For its benefits, we had about a 20% increase in participation for lunch, which is good, and about a 40% increase in participation for breakfast. So we're feeding a lot more kiddos this year, which is awesome. Another perk to the program this year, which we will get into a little bit more when we talk financials on page 2, but the program, since we were on CEP this year, the government gave the district an increase in DIPA funding. That's not food service related, but it's because we are all free. So we got a big bump in DIPA funding this year because of it as well. Some of the cons of the program is our food service 006 account lost more money than we had expected and anticipated. So again, we'll talk about that on page 2. For our next item, it's that we had our first full year of our after-school snack. Last year we implemented it kind of mid-year, so this was our first full year running after-school snack during extended learning. We served about 2,600 snacks to kids after school. We purchased new equipment and installed at Geneva High School the dishwasher. It cost $37,000. The previous dishwasher that was here was about 20 years old, and it took a dump at the beginning of the year, so they ran a few months without it, hand washing and using styrofoam to get by. So we were very happy when that was installed in December. And for student engagement this year, we participated in National School Lunch Program, or the National School Lunch Week, National School Breakfast Week, by doing promotions with the kiddos. We did a Thanksgiving lunch. We had Lucky Tray giveaways for multiple weeks at the elementary level. We did our usual Christmas giveaway. Shout out and thank you to our local Santa and Mrs. Claus.
I know you.
We also celebrated School Lunch Hero Day. That was exciting. All the kids made fun little art pieces and hung them up in the cafeteria for all of our school lunch heroes. And lastly, we did a taste testing here at the high school. For wellness, we are continually working on menu enhancements, looking for, kind of trending menu items, that sort of thing. And then this was our first full year offering to self-serve fruit and vegetable stations at the high school. Again, we started it last year, and then this was our first full year of it. For our support for education, we collaborate with elementary buildings on book machine coins for giveaways during Lucky Tray and that sort of thing. We also, last summer, applied for the Ohio Grow Grant. We didn't get it, unfortunately, but it was a lot of work, so I thought I would note it. That was a collaboration between John Barbo, he's a science teacher here, and Mr. King and myself and a couple of other teachers. So what we were applying for was a grant to bring some hydroponic towers in for the STEM classes, and that could be used for food service and in the culinary course. So maybe for future years we'll get the grant. And then we began implementing our new menu software system. We had our usual food service staff trainings to meet all the requirements. And then in addition to the usual trainings, we had 3 new food service staff members become ServSafe certified. So that's a 2-day course at the local health departments, and all 3 of them passed. So it's a 2-day course, and then at the end of it, there's a test. They passed, and so that's, at this point, most of our staff are ServSafe certified, so that's great. We also submitted data for the summer EBT. So for families that qualify, just a note, those funds are starting to be distributed, so they'll be distributed between June and August. We did cycle menus again this year, which helps us control our cost, inventory. It helps with menu consistency, recipe consistency, and then meeting compliance. This year we joined the commodity co-op called SWEPSI, Southwest East Purchasing Company. And we, because of that, we had a lot simpler processing with ordering and receiving our commodities. It also significantly helped reduce a lot of the commodities that we had on hand from previous years. And then we also had, just to note, a reduction in federal fund distribution this year. So this is the first year since the COVID years, 2020, without the increased meal reimbursement rates and without the supply chain assistance funding. So it looks like going forward, we won't be getting that help that we had for these couple years to get us through COVID and the increase in food costs from the supply chain disruption. So this is our first year without that. We updated our wellness policy and completed our triennial wellness policy assessment, which is a required component of the food service program. So we did the triennial wellness policy assessment kind of as a collaborative effort with the wellness committee. So we discussed that and reviewed that. And lastly, we worked this year on updating all the job descriptions for all cafeteria staff because there were some old ones. We had some positions that were still all shift making pizza, which doesn't happen. And then for a little look ahead, I will introduce our new food service director, Mariah Wilson. She's sitting over here. So she'll be officially starting as of July 1st, but won't, she's got July off, so she'll be in as of August 1st. And then under the community eligibility provision, CEP, the free meals, we have the possibility to do that for an additional 3 school years, so the coming up school year, and then 2 more. Based on what we're going to talk about with financials, I would just like to note that my recommendation would be to, if we do go ahead with a second year of CEP, that we review numbers around like March or April of 26 again to, make that decision for year 3 if we want to stick with it a little earlier than, what we would normally do at the June or July board meeting. Just so that, handbooks can be adjusted and all of that if the board decides that we shouldn't go ahead with CEP for year 3. And then next year we are looking to update cafeteria signage in collaboration with the media and graphics class. We kind of already started that ball rolling a little bit this year, but didn't roll the ball far enough, so we'll have that as a goal for next year. And then at the middle school, they will be doing the self-serve fruit and vegetable bars just like the high school is. As usual, we'll work to increase participation for both breakfast and lunch, especially with the free meals. And then again, the USDA did publish the Child Nutrition Program dietary guidelines for 2020 to 25. Which I touched on a little bit last year, but this year is a school year where some of those are required to be implemented, like the established added sugar limit, which is great, and then the maintaining whole grain requirements that all grains have to be whole grain or enriched grain, and then there will be a requirement to reduce sodium even further by 2027. So just thought I'd put that on your radar. Okay, then page 2 is our financial summary. So I'll just quickly go through some of these numbers. I know you have them all in front of you. So we, for the 24-25 school year in cash receipts, our income there was about $74,700. For our reimbursement total, it was $798,800. And then we do have a little bit of income that hasn't hit the bank yet from May. So that's that in-transit amount of 105. So for our total receipts, our total income we were at $873,566. So you can see if you compare the previous years. So normally this report would show you current year and then two previous years. I added this third previous year of 21-22 just so you could have some comparison to, because that was the last year that from COVID we had free meals. Comparing it to the previous 2 school years wouldn't have given you much to compare. So you can see if you look at your total cash receipts and your government reimbursement, how total cash receipts back in 21-22 was pretty low, similar to our 24-25 income and receipts, but the big kicker is that government reimbursement. So you can see back in 21-22 when all the meals were free, how much more we were getting in reimbursement versus now. So that's that piece that I spoke to you about earlier, that they are no longer trying to give those extra funds to help out. And then our receipts, our total expenses for the year was $1,120,000. Leaving our total ending balance at that $44,000. So it's as you can see, a pretty big hit for our 006 account this year. If you compare the numbers year to year, you're going to see most of that loss in that government reimbursement. So I do, looking ahead and in chatting with Shelley and Dave about this, plans for next year, I do still, and Shelley does still recommend going CEP for a second year, see if we can increase those participation numbers, which will help. But either way, I do predict a loss of that amount again for next year if we do CEP. This year, because we had money in 006 in food service, it didn't quite put us into the negative yet. We're still in the positive. But by very early next year, the food service account on CEP will go into the negative. The plus is that the increase in funding that we have received from DIPA, which Shelley can answer any questions on that, because I certainly can't, can cover all of our losses and then some. So overall, the district as a whole still has benefited greatly from the CEP program, just not the food service account.
So is the 105 in the 798? Is it part of it?
In the 790? No, it's not.
It's not in there yet?
No.
No, so you'll see, because right now, we will not receive that money until July. I am going to advance it because I know that it is coming. So when we go to the transfers and advances, so basically we're gonna advance it so the account is not in the negative as of June 30th, and then when we get that money will go back to the general fund. But again, you know,
So-
state funding as compared to
But that
federal.
reimbursement amount is 798 plus 105?
Yes, and this does not also include any of June numbers again. So, so yeah, that would be,
So total receipts could potentially be $1 million?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, with that 105, it was like at 978, like
Yeah.
978,000,
The plus
wrote down.
June?
Plus
Which would be
June,
minimal.
yes.
There's
Plus
only,
June.
there's
Plus
only,
June.
there's only 4 days of school in June.
Yeah, but that'll
So-
show on our July report, so that technically, I don't think would end up in our June
Oh, no,
end of
yeah,
year,
correct,
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so that'll just be 4 school days, and then our, 14 days of summer school.
I was gonna ask, summer school would be in that too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
So, again, I just want to touch base real quick on the DPIA funds. So, the difference in the DPIA funds was $1.1 million
Increase?
increase in our DPIA
So
phase.
it's well covered.
So, correct, now those are restricted funds through the state. So I know, you know, we currently have 2 reading specialists right now posted. You know, and so we'll go through and have a breakdown of what we can do with that funding for next year, and how to, you know, because obviously we have to spend it or it gets returned. And so we don't want to do that. So, you know, but again, that is a start on trying to get some of that expended, so.
Thank you, Shelley.
General treasurer, maybe question. So when our food service has a positive, and June 30th is the cutoff, right? It carries over
Oh, yes,
to the next school
Oh, yeah.
year, right?
correct.
So we start.
So we're gonna start off the year with around about $45,000. Now, again, we started out the year with 291,000.
Right.
So we did go down about 250,000. And that is with the advance in it, with the ending balance would be, with us advancing that 105 from the general fund, just so again.
So it is in there or it isn't in there?
Well, I think in the ending balance, it is.
So then it would be in the 798?
No, it's not in the ending balance. With it in the ending balance, I believe it was about 150, something like that. It's not in that ending balance on here.
Yes,
Right.
yes, it is, because
Was
right
it?
now you're negative 55,000. On my books at,
Okay. I guess I'll relook
Yeah,
at that.
we'll
I
look,
didn't
yes.
think that we
So we
included it in
don't
that,
have a
but I'll
balance?
double check.
We have 45,000.
we will, yes.
We will,
Yes.
with the DIPA money.
No, was
No.
that separate? Yeah,
With
so,
the-
so with the transfer in
With the
of the money
transfer
that
in.
we did not get for May, normally for May, submission, we get that in June. So because they close, ODE closes as of June 10th, so if it's not submitted by then we have to wait till July. So again,
You mean the due?
the due, sorry, yes.
I'll
So
double
again-
check that, and if that's not right on here, I'll have Shelley email it out. But I thought that was what we said as our ending balance, but I will double check.
But I think
just
that's
to be sure.
with the advance in there.
It is, but it
Oh,
isn't.
with
We know
your
that money's
advan-
coming.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
That will be the balance.
Correct.
It's just not today.
It will be on June 30th when we close the
There we
books. You'll see it and the ending balances when we close. You know, it'll be around there. Now, again, there's gonna be some more income in there because she does have the receipts. I don't know how much your receipts were in June. You-
We have not submitted for June yet.
Right, but I mean, your normal receipts, that you just gave me all the
Oh, my deposits?
Yes, your
Yeah,
deposits.
not
minimal, like a
much,
few
yeah.
thousand, so,
Couple thousand,
but
yeah.
still.
Okay, and then just quickly for meal participation, we served 225,000 lunches this year and 93,000 breakfast. I didn't include in here our summer school counts. Obviously, we still have a few more days of summer school. So when we update this with all of June information, you'll see that those summer school numbers added in there. And
I have a couple other
That's all I
questions,
have.
Michelle.
Okay.
So the grant, the Grow Ohio grant, did the grant committee tell us what we did wrong, what we needed?
They did not.
Okay, so, but the plan is then to reapply this year,
If it's available,
if it's available?
yes.
And how much was it?
It was about 18,000 that we applied for. We applied for 3 hydroponic grow towers.
Yeah.
It's an initiative to, kind of bring that farm to school in-house.
Okay. And my last thing, so the certification that some of our staff got, ServSafe, is that, I don't know how to ask this question. I'm not sure what I mean. When a teacher or a certified staff gets a bump in education, you see
Oh,
what
are
I'm
you saying
saying?
bump in pay?
Is there a bump in pay?
No. I
Is
wish
a
there
bump
were
in
for them,
status?
but
I mean,
there
what's the
is
other
not.
advantage to having this
So-
besides the?
So when the health department comes in to do inspections, it is required through the health department that there's somebody on site at each kitchen who's ServSafe certified or listed as like a person in charge. The ServSafe certification is nationally recognized, so that's usually what they want and look for. So all of our managers are required to have that. Our head cooks, we prefer have it in case, our managers are out and the head cooks step up into manager positions. And then we even offer it to some of our shorter houred staff because they don't offer it, but usually like once or twice a year. This year it was offered twice a year and some of our staff even went to Lake County for it. So when our shorter houred staff are, have that drive, they, want to study for it and learn all of the safety and sanitation information. I mean, it goes into detail. It's like 2 days of training. So we encourage like all of our staff to be certified. And so, as long as they want to and have the willingness to like study for it and all of that, we encourage it. And, they always move up into head cook or manager positions too, even as shorter houred staff.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you for having
You've
me.
been an outstanding administrator, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And have you told Mariah that I play Santa and Mrs. Claus?
Well, I didn't, but she
I need
knows
to
now.
make sure that this is in there. This
She's your
needs to
go-to.
be- Thank you so much. Michelle.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
It's
Thank you.
It's the worst kept secret in Geneva.
Okay, moving ahead. Thanks, Michelle. The interim superintendent recommends approval of the enclosed agreement and service contract between the Geneva Area City School District Board of Education and the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve Governing Board for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends approval of the enclosed agreement and service contract between the Geneva Area City School District Board of Education and Baker Tilly Municipal Advisors.
Need a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion, questions?
So just so you know, so Baker Tilly is the municipal advisor that was helping with the levy rates. So normally, they do not get paid until the levy issuance, the bond issuance. So this is just an agreement with them, so obviously they can bill us for some hours in case, it doesn't go through, doesn't pass, so.
Anything else? Roll call.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends approval of the enclosed independent contractor agreement between the Geneva Area City School District Board of Education and Pintabona Construction LLC.
Is that for the auditorium?
So moved.
Sorry. Second,
Discussion?
is that for the auditorium?
This is to allow, and Mr. Pintabona is here to allow his organization to serve as the kind of intermediary so that we can have someone come up and take a look at the trusses in the attic of the building
Oh, okay.
to make sure that there are no dings, dents, or issues that would cause the same type of a situation that occurred over in Ashtabula during the winter months.
Thank you.
Mr. Pinabona, would you like to come up, please, and kind of explain in better detail than what I did, since you know what it looks like and you've gone through it
Of course.
with our neighboring district?
My name is Ben Pintabona, and it's kind of like coming home. I built this school in 2009. I was the CM. It was the 6th school I've built. Ashtabula right now, where I'm the owner's rep, is number 19. So I like building schools. The issue that we're concerned with here is what damage, if any, that might have been caused by that 5 foot of snow that hit Saybrook Township, as well as some of the other surrounding areas. So I have already been up in the attic spaces of most of this building, and I've got some photographs which led Mr. Riley to ask, could we do something formal in terms of documenting what happened and engaging an engineering firm that is familiar with light gauge steel trusses, and then getting, if there are any repairs that have to be made, getting a mitigation plan from that engineer, and then getting estimates from contractors and awarding the work and getting it done. So that's basically what it is, and I would be acting as the owner's representative. I would not be doing any of the actual work. That would be a conflict. I would be purely this Board of Education's representative for that very discrete piece of work that has to be done here. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So
And
if
is
you've
the
been
high
up,
school- oh, go ahead.
if you've been up in this building, are you seeing things that you're concerned about?
Yeah, there are some dings and some dents, and there's several different kinds of damage that a light gauge metal truss can be subjected to. Some is kind of incidental. It's the carpenter with his hammer smacking it over. That's not what we're looking for. Or a choker, which is a sling that the crane would use to lift a truss up out of the roof. That's not what we're concerned with here. What we're concerned with here is buckling or twisting or kinking of either the top or bottom cord of the truss or the webs that go from the top to the bottom. And there is some of that. None of it is serious. Nothing at all like what happened and what we have found at Ashtabula. Nothing even remotely close. But the rule in the industry is that if you can see the damage, then you should do something. You have to be concerned about it. You should do something to mitigate that. As soon as that loses its shape, it loses its strength. So, and you cannot put it back. You can bend it back in place, but that doesn't guarantee that it retains its strength. You've got to reinforce it somehow. Some of it you don't have to do anything, but that's the engineer's call. We just say, here's what we have found, here's where it's at, here are pictures, and then they've actually got to get up there and do an engineering assessment.
And then this building being flat, our other buildings really aren't flat. Do you see an issue with any of our other buildings, or do you not know yet?
I have not seen anything I'd be willing to go look, but I have not been in any of the other buildings, just this one here. And these areas, you have flat roof, what we would call low slope or flat roof areas, like this auditorium, for instance, or the cafeteria, or parts of the space between the auditorium and the cafeteria. And then you have the truss, which is a sloped roof that is formed by light gauge steel trusses. Those are the areas that we're concerned about.
Thank you.
So the damage you're seeing, is that from the snowfall, or is that just typical wear and tear?
Yeah, there is no typical wear and tear that I'm aware of.
Okay.
This is usually one of three things. A defect that occurs at the manufacturing plant, somebody drops something. Something is damaged in shipping. Essentially, a crane lifts these off the truck, sets them down in a parking lot, for instance. If there's something in the parking lot and you lean those trusses over, it might get dented or dinged. Or that sling that holds that truss in two areas, the truss might be heavy and it bends one of those webs. That's the kind of, or the carpenter swinging a hammer to move the truss over where they need it to be. That's incidental damage. That's something the engineers look at, but that's really not the concern. The concern here is if you have such an increase in the load on the roof that it causes damage to the truss underneath. That's what happened up the street.
And that's what you're seeing in this building?
Nothing like what happened up the street,
But-
so.
But on the way there?
Yeah, yes, there's, in my mind, and I'm not an engineer, but I've seen enough, in my mind, you've got the beginnings of damages to the webs on the trusses that appear to be because of overloading. Nothing anybody has done, 5 foot of snow. Just to finalize it, the code in Ohio, including today, for this entire part of the state, is to design light gauge trusses to withstand what they call a 30-pound per square foot ground load. Enough snow that amounts to 30 pounds per square foot. 63 inches of snow, which is what happened here this past winter, translates into over 90 pounds per square foot. Nobody designs for that, not in Northeast Ohio, maybe 500 miles north of here, but not here. So the only thing we can do is get up there, all right, what happened, if anything, get somebody who really understands light gauge steel trusses and find out what the repair protocol is and then get it enacted.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Hey, one quick last
Sure.
question. This preventative maintenance and fixing this now, one of my favorite stories, which is a lot more dramatic than this one, is it the Citibank building? Where they ended up having to find the load trusses, where later on they needed to basically re-engineer the entire building. But if we do these
Wow.
repairs now, as we hear the trusses heat up and cool down, that stops a lot of collateral damage that could potentially
Oh,
over a
without
long
question.
period of time.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's best to do it as close to the event as possible.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
None of it's ever going to get better on its own.
Yeah.
It'll never go back. So, yeah.
I just want to explain to the taxpayer, when they say, well, I haven't adjusted my house in so many years, I want them to know that these load-bearing trusses are a lot different of a beast.
This is nothing like what you see in a house. If these were wood trusses, we wouldn't be having this conversation, which is what you see in residential homes. And you will never get the kind of spans you need with a wood truss. It'd be as thick as a tree trunk, and that has its own challenges. So you're really limited. But what you're saying is exactly right. Get it as quickly as you can, because once that member changes shape, it gets weakened. So you don't know what's going to happen next year. So what you're doing is what you should do right
Cool.
now.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes. I have one more question, though. Do we have a price tag on it yet?
No.
Okay.
Enclosed for review is the following revised policy for board adoption, policy 5512, tobacco use prevention.
So moved.
Second.
Is it just for review?
Discussion?
I don't think it's a vote, is it?
It's just for review. So essentially, we were notified, districts notified back in maybe March or so from the Ohio Tobacco Coalition down in Ohio, more or less, that they gave us a rubric, I guess they use to evaluate these type of policies, and Geneva received a D+.
Yikes.
And the only reason we received a D+ was because of, as it says in there, we needed to add in that announcements will be made during home athletic events, both before the event and during intermission, as well as at all school functions were deemed appropriate. We put that language in, we're at an A. So it just makes sense to just, because I don't like D+, to just make it an A and put that language in there.
So is the box checked then?
It'll be checked when
It'll
we
be
when we
checked.
send it over. Yep. We consulted Neola, and Neola read our policy up and down, compared it with the rubric, and their recommendation was the only thing they could think of was this one line, and they said you should be good to go.
So do we need to wait?
So we have to vote on it next.
Vote on it next time, because we're adding that language in there. but that's why it's there. The interim superintendent recommends that the board approve the enclosed revised middle school handbook for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Any changes?
The changes were very similar to the what was noted at the last board meeting regarding the high school handbook in terms of the medication distribution to make sure that it aligned with board policy that is there. So I did meet with Mrs. Carnett from the middle school, Mr. Chenoweth from the high school, and we went through it and made sure that word for word it aligned with the policy and the procedures that we needed to be in place. So it was overlooked when the board at the last meeting voted for the middle school one. We picked it up on the high school one, so it's just revising of the middle school one, but the next one will be an actual first voting for the high school.
So we're good with the medicine forms and all of that? We're all set?
Yep, we've gone through those.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Oh,
Mr. Pierson,
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski,
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg,
yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon,
Yes.
and Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends that the board approve the enclosed high school handbook for the 2025-2026 school year.
Motion, please.
Moved. Second.
Discussion?
It's the same
Same.
change, right?
Yep. Okay, roll call?
Mrs. Cybulski,
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg,
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz,
Yes.
and Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends approval of the enclosed resolution, a resolution to determine that a reduction in force of a teaching position may be necessary and authorizing notification of a potential reduction in force.
Moved. Second. So this is because of the grade level changes and?
This is the French position that has been at the high school, and this past year was a 2/10 position. It is no longer going to be offered at the high school, so there's a potential that we will have to. And the language in the contract says it's a RIF, so we would RIF the position, and then the board, if it's approved tonight, then the board would vote in August to actually RIF the position following the contract guidelines. We are trying to put in, as Shelley pointed out, posted a couple positions for reading specialists at the elementary levels, so we can get a position back. And GHA wants to, they didn't really care, or I guess they cared, but they wanted to make sure it was either at some level a position that would help out the district. And based on conversations, we felt that the elementary level was the target.
Do we have interest in French?
That would be something that Mr. King would have to address. And I know they always advertise, like they advertise American Sign Language, and couldn't get an individual. So
So there is no current teacher in that
Correct.
position?
Yep,
So does that mean we just have Spanish?
yes.
Correct. And I think we're at a point where we need to talk with our class advisors. We need to ask our kids what they want.
Yeah, we need to figure this out.
Yeah,
We have to have more than just Spanish.
I agree. And I think, but we need to figure out what's enticing to our kids right now and see what we could, and kind of meet in the middle and figure out what that's okay, what they
Yeah.
might be interested in and go from there, because I think, I mean, I know that as the adults, we have to, navigate those waters and make those decisions, but I would like to know what the kids are interested in.
Well, and
So not for the
from my
school year.
understanding, we tried to find a French teacher for
For a
a
long
few
time.
years,
And an
right?
ASL teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
and just
so
can't find them.
Right.
So I do know that Mr. King and the guidance counselors, school counselors did ask students and staff, and the staff came up with a few different courses that they've added into the high school handbook in an effort to kind of draw interest into those particular areas, and I believe that was based on some student feedback that they had gotten. But it is always good to get student feedback, especially at the high school level. Times change. Things are much different every year, so I would encourage that to continue.
So for this coming school year, we only have Spanish offered.
Correct.
To be honest, though, I mean, with how fast we have generative AI, and this is not me advocating for this, is just an explanation. I speak French, and I don't understand a lot of idioms in traditional French because I speak a version called Québécois, and it's very easy for me to speak to AI in both French and English and have it dissertate the language for me. And I can understand extremely complex, like, idiom topics in seconds. Even now, if you use a lot of text, you can translate whole books nearly immediately. And so the need for some of that, one of the benefits earlier was to understand concepts that maybe you couldn't present in your own language in English that you could in French or Spanish or, God, I took Latin with Mr. Urbanski. And I'm glad I did. It was awesome. But now no longer is it necessarily a prerequisite to understanding the concepts in those languages, because that wall has basically been Rosetta Stoned by just the fact that we can have in real-time translations. I'm not saying that's a replacement for language. I think it's essential. But I think that's why we see not as much interest in it as maybe we used to.
Is a foreign language a requirement or purely elective?
It's required for graduation, but you can exceed the number of credit hours that you have to take, and then it becomes additional elective in the fine arts.
I was going to say, it goes towards your fine arts credit and towards graduation. Okay.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends the following personnel actions for the 2024-2025 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? This was
Just the one person.
yeah, the one
Yes.
person, okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
This is just for Natal?
Yes.
Correct.
Then yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends the hiring of the following personnel for the 2025 summer school session to be paid according to the adopted wage guidelines.
So moved. Second.
Discussion?
We had a couple of teachers step forward to help out with summer recovery after the last board meeting, and the cafeteria and the bus drivers are listed because when we did, prior to the last, we didn't know the number of students going into summer school. So we didn't know how many students we're going to feed, what the transportation was going to look like, so that's why they're on there currently right now.
How many students do we have in summer school?
I do not have that information. I believe there's a dozen or so at the high school level, and last I thought there was 20, 25 at the middle. And elementary, they were leaning at about that same number too, 20, 25. Now, where they finally landed, I don't have that information in front of me.
All good? Okay. Roll call?
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time following this, and I know that's frustrating. Is this for all of these?
Just for summer school.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends the following personnel actions for the 2025-2026 school year.
Moved. Second.
Discussion?
I have a question. Why do we have a resume? We don't typically get resumes from candidates?
We started that last year to try to inform the board of the quality of the type of individuals that we are bringing into this district.
Oh,
So
just
like-
teachers or?
First-year teachers or new employees into the
Oh, I
district.
didn't remember that. Okay. Thank you.
Just trying to communicate to the board.
I appreciate that.
I don't like the retirement section, just saying.
Me neither.
No comment. But thank you.
I thought you had no comment. Thank you's a comment.
Personally, I like it.
Thank you, STRS, for choosing.
Thank you. I was good either way, but thank you.
And Jocelyn said Mr. Poland's not allowed to retire yet, so.
All right, any other questions or discussion? Are we, I don't want to rush anybody. Are you good, Brock?
I'm gonna have to line item two out. because
Okay.
of this really troublesome Lisa Cozy person.
I know.
I'm not voting for her.
I wouldn't if I were you.
You probably have to
I'm not
abstain if
explaining.
it's not separated.
I think it's not separated, right? So you can't vote
That's
for
his
any of
mom.
them, I don't
That's
think,
his
Brock?
mom.
Okay. So,
Unless we can do that, can't we? Isn't there a way to
Yes.
pull it out?
Yeah, I could
Yes.
just specifically abstain to her, which is what my intention is doing.
Right.
so we are going to, and where, I'm sorry, where is she?
Lisa Cozy, head teacher.
K-O-Z-S-E-Y.
And detention
As-
supervisor at Austinburg.
You guys somehow have been misled to allow her to potentially be head teacher, which for that, I send you my prayers and well wishes.
Well, at this point, her roots are so deep, it's impossible to get.
She's gonna disown him.
Okay, so we're gonna remove, which papers does she have?
So
Too many.
Do you need a
Page 4.
adjusted motion?
So let's do this here, removing Lisa Cozy. Okay, so,
Make her her own.
yes, so we'll have a separate one for her.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so let's go ahead and
Um,
we can vote on,
You can do roll call for that.
correct.
Do I need to propose a motion to amend, or is it all?
Amending the,
I'll amend my
Agenda.
motion.
Okay. And Mrs. Cybulski, you gonna second?
Can you second the amended motion? Yes. go ahead.
Yes, okay.
And then roll call.
Mr. Pierson,
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski,
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg,
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Okay, so now here, we want to put in the Lisa. Okay,
Wait, that was 11. So would that become like 11,
that would actually probably become 12.
12? Okay,
Yes,
and then 12 becomes
yes, then we
13,
will,
12.
So moved.
so first is Mrs. Ortiz. Okay.
I'm lost now, too.
For the first part, yes.
Okay.
So now we're on Mrs. Cozy.
Right.
We're doing her first or everybody?
No, second.
She's become the new 12.
Yes.
12.
The numbers just go down.
Yeah.
That'll be 13 now.
So we're on the big list, right?
No, now we're on the small list.
Discussion yet?
We're in a small
We're on
list.
the small list.
Did we do discussion for the big list yet?
Yes, because that's when you said, she said she didn't like it.
The big list we already discussed.
Yes.
So I need a
Do you have more
second on
discussion?
Mrs. Cozy.
No, I had a,
No.
So moved.
I had a question.
Oh.
Number 3, Sammy Leichner, is that for a specific student? Yeah? Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Jeannie, you were the first for the new 12, and Beth,
Correct.
you were the second for the new 12?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, yep, I'm just making sure. And then,
Vote.
okay,
We're
We're
gonna
voting
say-
on 11?
we're voting on the new 12.
Just
The new
And
12.
Mrs. Cozy.
separate.
Got it.
Mr. Pierson,
Abstain.
thank you.
Get that out of the way.
Mrs. Cybulski,
Yes.
Mrs. Craig,
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon,
Yes.
and Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Others, yes, okay.
Now lucky 13.
Insanity.
We moved her to lucky 13.
Okay,
It's worth it for your mom.
Okay,
I think my retirement was approved, yes? that was-
it was.
You're good, you're good.
You were on the long
I just want to make
list.
sure,
Skips out of here.
just
Yeah,
want
we
to
need
make
to
sure.
line item that one out, too.
Thought Mrs. Ortiz was trying to slip something in there somehow, and just didn't know what she was doing.
You caught me. Remember, effective August 1, though.
Effective July 31.
okay,
Are we good?
yes, now we're at the new 13.
Sure. The interim superintendent recommends the following administrator be hired on a 3-year contract to be paid according to the adopted administrator's contract guidelines and subject to meeting certification requirements of the state of Ohio. That
So
person-
moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Just so that the board is aware, this recommendation is coming from Dr. Lombardo, new superintendent that is incoming. I was not part of any interviewing or vetting process whatsoever.
Any other discussion? Did your hand go up, Jeannie, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay, roll call.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken-Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Is she here?
And Jennifer is here. Jennifer, you want to wave to the crowd and stand up? And
Congratulations.
there you go. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to Geneva.
When does she start?
So she will be joining us, I believe, June 26th?
Tomorrow. Get to work.
No, not tomorrow. I'm ahead of myself. Probably, will she come the 10 days prior to like August 1? Or July 20, okay. So I have a little bit of an introduction I can read about her. So Jennifer Chalabi is, did I pronounce it right? Yeah. Okay. As the next Assistant Superintendent of Geneva Area City Schools, Jennifer brings over 28 years of educational experience with a deep and demonstrated commitment to instructional excellence, curriculum development, and student-centered leadership. Her experience includes extensive time in central office roles where she has led major district initiatives around curriculum audits, assessment, strategic planning, professional development, and program compliance aligned to Department of Education and Workforce and Ohio Revised Code standards. In her current role as an associate principal and lead member of the district curriculum department at South High School, Jennifer has coordinated district-wide instructional initiatives, implemented professional learning communities, and served as both a College Credit Plus liaison and Rise Up program coordinator. Previously, as curriculum coordinator for the Willoughby East Lake Board of Education from 2016 through 2024, she oversaw testing, data analysis, and district-wide instructional alignment, building a reputation for collaborative leadership, transparency, and results-driven decision-making. College Credit Plus is a dual enrollment program in the state of Ohio that allows eligible students in grades 7 through 12 to earn college and high school credit simultaneously by taking courses from participating Ohio colleges and universities. As the CCP liaison, Jennifer collaborated with institutions of higher education to identify and develop opportunities for students to access college-level coursework both on our district campus and at partner institutions. Jennifer ensured that all necessary memorandums of understanding, or MOUs as you've heard us refer to, were in place and that budgetary requirements were met to support program implementation. In her role as the Rise Up coordinator, Jennifer oversaw the implementation of the Rise Up Industry Recognized Credentialing Program, which provides alternative graduation pathways for students who do not meet the state's required competency score of 684 on end-of-course exams and or are unable to demonstrate college or career readiness. Jennifer was responsible for training tutors and proctors on the Rise Up system, managing the program budget, and securing courseware and credentialing exam materials. Additionally, she monitored student progress toward credential attainment and provided ongoing support to tutors and proctors to ensure student success. Jennifer is an accomplished educator and former science teacher with extensive experience teaching 9th grade science, chemistry, physics, and AP physics. She was recognized as the Lake County Science Teacher of the Year in 2005, a testament to her excellence in science instruction and student engagement. In addition to her classroom success, she has served in multiple leadership roles, including principal and assistant principal, where she led school improvement initiatives, mentored instructional staff, and cultivated strong partnerships between the school and community. She has consistently demonstrated a proven ability to support, develop, and empower administrators, contributing to sustained growth in leadership capacity across the schools she has served. Above all, she leads with integrity, a strong moral compass, and unwavering student advocacy. Her deep understanding of systems work, curriculum, and instruction will complement our strategic goals and help drive consistency and excellence across all levels of the district. I am confident that Jennifer will be a tremendous asset to our leadership team and a strong partner in our mission to ensure high-quality learning experiences for every student here at Geneva Area City School District. Welcome, Jennifer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, Madam Vice President, members of the board, Mr. Riley, Dr. Lombardo. Thank you so much for entrusting me the opportunity to serve as your Assistant Superintendent. I am so excited to be working in a district where there's such a strong commitment to academic excellence and community engagement, and just the love of the legacy of being a Geneva Eagle. I think it's awesome. I would like to also thank my husband, who's here tonight. Friday marks our 33rd wedding anniversary, and he has stuck with me through thick and thin, and I appreciate that. My 3 boys could not be here tonight. They missed their mom a lot throughout my career, but they always were supportive and loving and caring and giving me encouragement along the way. I look forward to formulating relationships with all of you, the community, the students, the parents, the dedicated staff, in propelling the legacy that Geneva Local Schools has, and also ensuring that we see through our shared vision of what we want Geneva to be. Together, I know that we will ensure that Geneva Local Schools continues to be one of the top schools in Northeast Ohio, and we will ensure that we provide exceptional educational experience for every student, and that every student leaves here with the skills that they need to be successful in whatever future plans that they have. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks, Jennifer.
The interim superintendent recommends the following substitute rates for the 2025-2026 school year effective 7/1/25.
So moved.
Second.
So discussion, Shelley and I had met earlier in the month. The substitute teacher pay will be up to $140 a day, which will put us in line with Ashtabula. And then, do you want to talk a little bit about the steps?
Sure. So on the OPSI side, I don't think those rates had been updated in a while. The only place I saw them listed was in the collective bargaining agreement, which is not part of the collective bargaining agreement, the substitute rates. I know a substitute bus driver was at 15 something. So what we did is we tied it to experience 0 or step 0 on the scale. So every year those will increase, as, if there's a 3% increase, which this does reflect for the new school year, the rates will increase with that. So every year we will board approve the new substitute rates, because again, it is not part of an agreement. But again, this way it is in line with, what someone walking through the door would make, and a little bit more competitive so we can get some substitutes. Right now, I think the highest substitutes we do have probably is cafeteria. I know we have a very large problem getting educational assistants, so I think increasing this rate, and especially the substitute bus drivers, will help us. It's almost a $4.50 increase for a substitute bus driver, so.
Where's the rest of the county for substitute teachers? You said we're now in line with Beulah. Who else? Where's everybody else?
I'll go to
Go
the email.
I sent you.
I can tell you. So we had called around, well, maybe it's not that one.
My real question is, where's Connie at?
What were we at?
We were at 125.
125, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Let me search sub rates and see if I can pull it up faster that way.
You can just send it to me, I'm just curious.
Here we go. ATEC was 110, Ashtabula 140, PV 110, Conneaut 125, ESC 125, Buckeye 140.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, let's go.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
The interim superintendent recommends the following volunteer coaches for the 2025-2026 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
And Mrs. Craig?
Yes. Here we go.
Okay, so let's just start real quick. You do have the financials for the month of May. I don't want to spend a lot of time on there because I have a lot this month. But again, we are kind of right in line. Again, this was devised after we had done the May forecast. So at the current time, we have a favorable impact of $553,000 based upon the revenue and expenditures. So that's where we're at today. And I always talk before we take the motion in a second, so I need a motion.
Moved.
You're out of order.
Second?
Second. Did you second, Michele?
Yeah, I second. That's fine. Either.
Are there any questions? Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Craig?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
And I would just like to express our gratitude. So we did receive two $1,000 donations to go towards the Mark Brace Here I Am Scholarship from Mr. Shimsky and also from a Charles Schwab charitable donation. So just to have you notice that. The treasurer recommends the approval of the closed resolution. A resolution to direct the payment or reimbursement of penalties and interest assessed by the City of Geneva against affected employees of the Geneva Area City School District and to adopt a grievance settlement agreement.
So moved.
Second.
So Shelley, this is, and Dave, I guess too.
Yes. So
Yes,
this
we
was,
should absolutely fix this. So my question though is going forward, do we have it fixed?
correct.
So that doesn't happen again?
Correct. So when this was brought to our attention, so I think the city also did an audit, and they, came across 3 individuals in the district who worked in city schools but did not have city tax withheld. So
Because they lived in other,
this is actually just workplace tax. So this is if, we had an employee who used to work at Austinburg where there is no city tax. So that is not taken out, but then that individual moved over to either the high school or GPS or the middle school, and now city tax should be withheld and was not. So the city is requesting back payment for that tax.
And what year was that?
We had 2 individuals that went back to 2012, and this person probably went back to 2018. It's kind of funny that when we had the beginning of the year spiel, when I came up here to introduce myself, I always stress, please review your paycheck, because you see 1 paycheck, our payroll department sees 400. So this kind of is, kind of a good thing. So we also found, though, as we did this audit, is that there are also individuals who are paying city tax who don't either reside in the city, which would be more of a residence tax, or work in the thing. So we did stop their withholdings, and then I will work with them to get their refund from the city. So what this is stating, though, we had to make sure that paying the penalties and interest only is a proper purpose of taxpayer dollars. So we went through legal, we went through the auditor of state to make sure that this is a proper purpose. It will cover this resolution will cover if anything would come up against us that we could use this. For this individual, it was about $1,000 of penalties and interest. Now, he did make payments. He has paid his amount to the city, and the other 2 are working with the city to get their amounts that are owed. And then they can work out a payment plan with the city to repay the amounts that they do owe for that.
we're just paying the penalty.
The penalties and
Yeah,
interest.
they're still gonna pay their own taxes.
Correct.
Yes.
Any other?
Any other questions, discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Craig?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
And Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
The treasurer recommends the approval of the enclosed resolution, establishing a capital projects fund, USAS 070, for the purpose of accumulating resources for the acquisition, construction, or improvement of fixed assets and authorizing special cost center wherein. Also authorizing a termination benefits fund, USAS 035, for the purpose of paying termination benefits or paying salaries when the number of pay periods exceed the usual and customary for a year, and authorizing transfers for both of such funds. I need a motion and a second.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, so let's kind
In
of just
words that I can understand,
touch
please.
base on this. So, as you know, with the budget bills, they are talking about a carryover amount that we can have in our general fund. So what this does is kind of protects some of our money. So we will create two funds. This 070, which is a capital projects fund. And
Things like a stadium.
Correct. So I did, you do have this resolution in your packet because it was missed. So kind of want to just touch base with, we do have the stadium project, right? So if the board decides to put money towards the stadium, it would come out of this fund, right? If we decide to do that. Also, I had Mr. Brigard and Mr. Olaf do and I made it a 6-year capital plan on what we would take out of these funds. So even though we're moving a dollar amount in, which we will discuss what we want to move, you know, things that we will take out of the general fund that we won't pay for anymore would be like the school buses would come out of this 070 account. So, you know, that would come off the 5-year forecast. You know, you can see on here, there's paving. Well, if we did the roof repairs on here, that would come out of this 070 account and not out of the general fund. The replacement of Chromebooks. So you can see kind of, you know, the plan that they have of things that we need. A wish list, urgent, somewhat urgent. So, you know, we were kind of talking, and I had talked to Mrs. Krieg about this on how much money we wanted to move out of the general fund to get us within the guidelines. Now, what was just passed by the budget bill this afternoon is they are kind of talking, and you guys all have a copy of this right now, as a 40% carryover with the ability to set aside funding for permanent improvements by October 15th. That's actually what we're doing today. So we're going to move some of that money to cover these permanent improvements. It is determined if this money is not used within 10 years, that some of it can be moved back over to the general fund. Also in this is creating a termination benefits account. This is a 035. So what is paid out of there mostly is severance. So when someone does retire, they do get a quarter of their sick days paid out to them at their current daily rate.
And that's in the CBA, correct?
That is in the CBA.
Thank you.
Also, which I have not seen in a CBA, that we do have in our CBA, if someone would leave here today who has been here for 15 years, they can also get that same 25% of their sick days paid out to them. They would lose them all. They wouldn't transfer to their new, you know, position. But normally, you know, if someone would leave here today with 15 years, we would just send their sick days with them. But again, in our CBA, we do have the option where they can get paid out on those sick days if they have been employed with the district for 15 years. So I know we have a few people who are resigning that we board approved today that actually have been here for 15 years, and both of them are leaving the teaching world. So they are both.
What's the cap on sick days?
320 here, correct?
Yes.
And
So
they pay out 25%?
25% of those. And again, you know, I'm not saying that they're all at 320 days, but.
No, yeah.
But still, so instead of coming out of the general fund, this does put aside that money as a startup. And again, we can decide on an amount. So what I think we had talked about was, I just want to make sure. So, yeah, 500,000 into that 035 account and 7.5 million, correct?
Yes, in the 070.
Into the 070 account. I just,
Do you want me to pull up my notes?
yeah.
So we're talking about separating money out of the general fund
Correct.
so that it avoids this 40% carryover.
Because if we are above the 40% carryover, they can reduce the amount that the taxpayers.
No, I know what that
yes,
all means.
Yes, so
Yeah,
as you
thank
know,
you.
correct.
Yeah,
So that's
Yes.
okay? I mean, obviously it's okay.
I mean, we're
you can do
using,
it.
yes, correct. I mean, it's still being used for,
So that's what other districts are doing?
yes,
It's used for the same thing, it's just coming out of a different pot of money.
correct,
Right, so
Yes,
that it
we're just-
doesn't,
Shuffling it around.
so that it doesn't apply to the 40% carryover.
correct,
Right,
correct.
yeah.
Yes, everyone is doing this.
Okay.
Correct. Yes,
Yeah, this is money that's already been paid.
Yes.
That's going to permanent improvements that taxpayers have invested their hard-earned time and money into for the past however long. In fact, if you remember, as much as I criticized this building, the board office, that money was probably 16 years old. We had held on to it with the fiduciary duty. People paid their taxes in 2006 to 2008, and we used it in 2021. So that's really, really what we're doing. This doesn't go forward and cap money and keep, doesn't increase or decrease or make an unvoted change to taxes. But what Shelley and President Krieg have done here is a really good idea with the language that we have, because we have until that October date to use that money that we have now. If not, it gets thrown back into the state and it can become everyone else's. And that's money that we collected here. So this is a really intelligent way to do this.
Okay, good, thank you.
And remember that this 070 or permanent improvement, these are things that would last longer than 5 years in the district. So, you can't use it for salaries or things of that nature. So it's pretty specific as to what you can spend those funds on.
And it stays in that fund until it's used for that purpose
Correct.
or after 10
Correct.
years.
Correct.
Correct.
Does
And,
it
and we
collect interest
can't,
or
if
anything,
it
or
gets
just sits there?
low, yes. And I can apply the interest, and I know even in the resolution it states, so we can give both of those a portion of the interest from the general fund. And then also we can make additional deposits, transfers into those accounts if they, start to get low as we're using them.
So what amounts are you recommending?
So we had talked about, $7.5 million on the capital improvements
Correct.
and 500,000 on the termination benefits account.
So termination benefits, we reach up that high? I mean, that number would be $500,000?
Well, 25% of 320 days.
Okay, Jamie.
Right, so if you have a teacher, right, who has been here, so let's just make a quick calculation.
I don't know, I can't do
right?
it.
So if we
These
have
are
a
good questions, because
teacher,
they're questions people will have.
yeah, if you have a teacher here making 80,000, right?
Yeah.
And you divide that by 183 days, so that's $437
A day.
a day.
That's their per diem, so that's their daily
Times,
rate.
right. So if you take 320, divide it by 4, it's 80 days, right? Am I
Right.
right? Times
You
80.
can go around the world in that
So that's
amount of time.
almost $35,000 for one person.
Oh,
Right.
that's a nice check to get from Geneva Schools.
Right, well, it does go into a 403B.
It's, yeah.
It is going, yeah,
It's
for
a TSA.
certified, yes, for
Okay,
certified
good, thank
employees,
you.
it does go.
Okay, so we do need that high amount.
Like I said, and because the fact that we have the caveat of the 15 years,
Those people also.
they're also entitled to, funds. So
What was
we
the first
do,
number you did? How many years?
so it's either you
You did-
retire, so
no,
like,
But you did how many,
so,
when you did
like-
your calculations? How many years did you start with?
Oh,
When you
she
just
just.
I just did a
She
salary.
just
I mean, like,
did a
of
salary,
an
not
Oh,
$80,000,
Yeah.
$80,000 teacher.
And at what level is that teacher? How many, is that a,
That's pretty high. That's somebody who's
That's
been here for
probably
a while.
about, that's probably about 26, 27 years.
Yeah. I'm just
Okay.
thinking, yeah,
okay, that's, okay.
right, so when they retire,
So someone half that experienced
right, yes, their daily rate would be lower, correct, I mean,
would be half,
Correct.
essentially.
right, I mean, it just depends on how
But
many
you-
sick
you
days they
to-
have, yes, there's a
and
lot.
there's a lot that goes into that, like the CBA, you've got steps and columns, and it depends on what that teacher's, like, all those
I
things.
know.
will-
Yeah.
So,
I just
I mean,
went
it
rough.
could, it could be a little bit higher than that, even if they have less years, just depending on what they've done
Sure,
for,
sure.
Right.
but.
Like I said, that was just a rough
Yeah.
estimate
Yeah.
of that, and like, again, because we do have that 15 years, because every school is different, sometimes, you have to be at a district so long
Right.
to retire, to get, right now, this is what, I'm trying to cover what our CBA currently has.
Okay,
So if you
So-
move this $8 million, where does that put us at the 40%?
So, that's a good question. I have that answer somewhere in my paper.
Yes.
Okay,
It's the mark.
so, and so, a few things, right? So, when they take this, so we had gotten an email early this morning on what line of the forecast they're gonna look at to take the 40%.
Okay.
So this year, it would be a higher number because when I put these transfers in of, you know, the 7.5 million, and actually, I think I forgot the 500. So, with the transfers and with the advance that we're gonna do for the lunchroom that I, you know, didn't think we had to do until now. And my advance that I thought we were gonna transfer for athletics and band was 118,000. It is gonna be more than that, you'll see. So we are currently, with the transfer, I'm at about 32% carryover.
Oh,
We
so
are
still would
carrying
have been at the
32, so we're
30%
under.
if they
Oh,
were-
no, we were at that's with the transfer,
That's with these two funds.
correct. We are currently at 69%,
We're at 69%.
yes,
So we were high.
we were high. So I just want to make sure, because I think I start
Jamming some numbers again.
yeah.
So
let me just
after
make
that, we'll
sure.
be
So
at
we're
32, is that what you said?
27, hold on, 274.
That's what she said.
483
You people and your numbers,
plus,
your math stuff.
plus my transfers and advances, which is the 105, 301 plus, let's just say 130,000 minus the 118 that
It's on the way.
we already accounted
Right.
for. So that's 35. Oh yeah, so I didn't include it. Times a 0.4. So we could be at 14. We're gonna be at 10. Or sorry, 14. We are going to, let me go back. So let me take that. Divided by 0.4. Hold on, let's go back to the 35. So that's our expenditures, right? So my beginning balance here was plus the 16, 712, 619. That was not right. Okay, give me a second, let's go back. But we're at 27.
So where did you come up with the I'm sorry, let's keep
No,
saying
keep going.
numbers.
483 plus. Okay, let's do this. Let me do this. I know what I want to do. So right now, on the forecast, our ending balance is going to be 18,827,518 minus 8 million minus, and then like I said, our transfers are minus 105, 1, 2, 3, minus 120 minus 118, which is 12,000. So our ending balance is going to be about $10.7 million. So we are at 10.710518. By our new ending, but our expenditures, let's go back, are 27,274, 483 plus 8 million plus 105 plus 12. So our expenditures are 35 million times 0.4. So we could have a carryover balance of 14 million. Or so. We are taking that would be 40%. We're taking that
It
down.
is today. I
But
mean, so
again-
that's my question.
right.
At what point in our fiscal year do we have to be measured for the 40%?
At the end of the fiscal year,
End
on
of
June
the
30th,
right.
right?
Okay.
So that's why I kind of took the forecast.
Okay.
So, again, now that's higher this year. Now, next year, we're not going to have as high of expenditures because what it's going to do is going to look at your expenditures per year because we're not going to have that transfer of 8 million. So even though we might be lower this year, you know, if we take our balance down a little bit lower. Now, again, if you don't feel comfortable, we could take to 7 million, you know.
Right, I'm just sitting here, because we had, because we did a 50% carryover.
Correct.
Right.
Originally.
Originally.
When we did that.
And then we found out at 6:02, it was
Yes.
602
Oh,
tonight, it was a
602 tonight
40%
said
carryover.
that it's gonna be
Not
funded.
knowing where they were gonna land.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
40
that's when we were jamming this out, we didn't know, like, literally,
Right.
we found out at 6:02 tonight, it was
Yeah.
a 40% carryover.
that it's probably gonna be 40%. So, we can, if, we can
I would say
obviously.
you stay with your numbers you had, 7.5 and 500,000.
I think so too.
So this
I
way.
agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, we're not losing it, it's just putting it aside.
Well, we're gonna need buses every year.
Correct.
Right.
Right,
It's
so
not like
again,
it's gonna go to, yeah.
and I'm sure once this budget bill is finalized with everything, will have a revised forecast, not waiting till November, and they've changed the forecast dates anyways. So we will have a revised, and it will show the transfers, because, again, I didn't want to account for this in May when I presented the forecast, if we didn't, hadn't passed this resolution to show that what
Right.
if. We transfer this $8 million out. And then again, did not have the known of the additional 100,000 for food service, so.
Okay.
So the resolution, again, there's a few highlighted items there, would be 7.5 million to the capital projects funds. And then, again, there's interest in there, and then we'll do the 500,000 to the termination benefits.
Yeah, so this will be 7.5 in here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for explaining that to me. Us?
Are we good?
We are good.
How are we? Does anybody have any other questions? Any other clarification?
No, but I love this list.
I know.
Yes.
I'm all
Actually
about the
making a
color
plan?
coding in the
Awesome.
graphs.
Yes.
It's
So-
lovely. Just appeals to my, you know how I love a good chart.
So that was actually the guys who, have worked on that, so.
Love it.
Mr.
Okay.
McGard, Mr. Ola. So, any other discussion on this?
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay. Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Okay, now, what did I do? Look at me. The treasurer recommends the approval of the advances and transfers between funds and the authorization of such transfers needed within funds to clear all deficit balances and to establish final June 30th appropriation amounts to comply with the requirements of the Ohio Revised Code.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, so this is what we are going to.
We just discussed.
Well, so those are separate, those are already part of the transfer. So we will need the 105,301,001 for the lunchroom. So that's in advance, because again, once that money is received, I will transfer it back to the general fund. What we do have is the normal, not usual, negative fund balances in the band account and in the athletic account. So we have finished with all the expenditures for the fiscal year in those two accounts. So the band amount transfer is $5,814.13. The athletics was $124,315.63.
Okay.
So that will put both of those accounts in the positive. Yes, those will zero those two accounts. So the 300 does have additional special cost centers for fundraising, athletic accounts, but again, we have to look at the actual board-supported athletic fund.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Okay, number 5, the treasurer recommends the adoption of the appropriations as presented for fiscal year 24-25 to be considered permanent appropriations upon receipt of the certificate of the auditor, that the total appropriations from each fund do not exceed the official estimate of resources. General fund appropriations are considered to be approved at the second digit of function and the first digit of object, and all other appropriations are approved by fund. So you will see.
Second? Now discussion, Shelley.
On my permanent appropriations, I have not broken it down. That'll get sent over when I update the permanent appropriations. You do have a one-page adjustment sheet that is in your packet that I gave you. So in January, we did 2 adjustments already. We increased the appropriations to our permanent improvement account and also the network connectivity account because it was not accounted for in the permanent appropriations in the fall. And then, you know, the ones that we're talking about today is the appropriations, adjustment for the general fund of $7.5 million. We did have enough of the $500,000 to cover that of the appropriations from the original, so we are good there. And then we have 2 adjustments in this 007 account that not enough was appropriated in that account, and it's just based on the spending.
Okay.
So those are the only other 2 adjustments that I am requesting, and then the revised amount, it will be the amount of the permanent appropriations for the fiscal year. Are there any other questions? I know that's just a bunch of numbers there for you, but basically, the certificate of estimated resources will come, so that is basically certifying all of our revenues. That's kind of what we approve with the budget. So that was approved, you know, last February, I think we received that for this fiscal year. And then if we get any extra monies, we would adjust that. The only thing that I did send to the county auditor was this 451 account, this network connectivity. When Mr. Lilly had made the budget last year for this fiscal year, he did not include that, that grant money that we do get, and so the expenditure was also not allocated, so we are increasing the estimated resources by the $10,000, and then obviously I need the authority to spend that $10,000. Just so you know, that's where that came from.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions?
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
And Mrs. Krieg.
Yes.
Okay. Next one, the treasurer recommends the 2025-2026 fiscal year temporary appropriations effective July 1, 2025. So you do have a handout on that also.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you for putting me.
Keep her in her place.
I know. Okay, so 2 things. So I do have a summary page, and I also do have it on how, with the 1-digit, let's just say, how is it? It is the 2nd-digit function, 1st-digit object for the general fund. So normally, there's 2 ways you can do temporary appropriations. You can do just a percentage of what you think your appropriations will be, which I think sometimes Mr. Lilly did. He did like maybe 50%. With the new software, I can actually take, like if you look at general fund, the $30 million, that is actually the amount that is on the forecast. So what that does is it kind of breaks it down and puts it based upon where the expenditures were this year. It does break it down for next year. I updated the bond retirement number. That is actually the amount that we will pay this year. And then everything else right now is a estimate of what we think our expenditures will be in each of the other accounts. This will be updated, so once, when we do close the fiscal year, we will send our ending balances to the county. They will give us a new estimated, certificate of estimated resources. So in case, you know, we say, we're getting more in Title I this year. So right now, in February, I thought we would get $800,000 in Title I. I think we just got our Title I allowance, which we're going to approve, and it's $818,000. So I will probably increase the estimated resources, so that way we can increase the expenditures of what we are paying. So there will be more with these temporary appropriations that will come in September.
The 10,000 under miscellaneous state grants, is that the 10 you were just talking about?
No, actually, the 451, that's the data communications that was missed last year.
Okay.
So that's that 10,000. Miscellaneous state grants might be, I'm trying to think of what grants are in there, and I
Oh, okay.
apologize. But yes, so, again, these numbers will be updated when we, especially after we get all of our federal funds. You'll see in number 7, we only did receive one allocation so far, so. But this gives us authority to start spending as of July 1.
Just coming way too soon.
It is. Any other questions? Okay, Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
And Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
The treasurer recommends the following fund to be appropriated according to the adopted budget.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so right now, as of, I think, Friday, we only have received our allocation for Title I funding. They have not sent us out there switching the systems over. We used to have a module called CCIP. It is now going to a, what is that called?
It's called the one plan.
One plan. So even putting the budget in for this one account is a little bit different. So I know Mr. Riley and Mrs. Brzanko, who were working on our federal fundings, we are in the process of submitting that. Technically, all your grant funds are supposed to be submitted by June 30th for a, what's that date? I can't think of the word, so that we can start spending it as of 7/1. Again, I don't know if the state is going to allocate the rest of the funds to us before June 30th in the first place, so obviously as those go. So next month, we will have the additional title funds, IDEA funds, early childhood fund, so. Any other questions? Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
And Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Okay. Number 8, the treasurer recommends the board suspend the directors, administrators, supervisors, central office staff contract guidelines for the 25-26 contract year and only approve a 3% increase on base for the 25-26 year, including the new administrative salary schedule before the application of factors for the administrative directors, supervisor, central office staff, effective July 1, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so this 3% does align with both of what both CBAs did receive a 3% increase this year. I will be working with Mr. Lombardo when he comes on updating the administrative salary guideline booklet, so that it is not nearly as confusing with formulas that Mr. Lilly had put into place with a percentage of revenues so again, we have based this off of just, again, the 3% increase of what the administrators were non-bargaining was receiving today.
Which has been historically. what
Correct,
has
yes.
been.
It matches what the CBAs
Yeah.
receive.
Shelley, how are we on cleaning up that administrative,
That's what she's.
That's what we're saying,
pay
so.
scale, right? So
They're gonna do
this
it.
is, this is a
Right.
step in this.
So we do, yes, so going forward, we do have, for new people coming in, the guidelines. But I think, in looking at it with Mr. Lombardo too, there's no breakdown of, it's just a daily rate for the first, actually, there's nothing for the first 5 years, right? So 6 to 10 and then 10, so there's no additional rate for if you have a master's, it's kind of built in, so everyone's getting the same rate. If you have a doctorate, it's no different than if you had a master's, if you had a bachelor's. So, I think, looking forward, that daily rate would be reduced to a point because we'll just have a salary and then probably have some additives with it based upon,
And we're gonna try to make this priority, because this is needed done for a long
Yes.
time.
It really is.
yes,
Yeah.
Dire.
My whole tenure.
Yep.
yes.
And this is
And
my
thanks
fourth
for
year.
everyone for spearheading this, because it was no simple matter. We have existing contracts in place, existing MOUs in place, or the equivalent thereof for administrators. We have a new superintendent coming on board. Shelley is converting a lot of paper to digital. This was an extremely complicated task, and it was done very quickly, so thank you all.
Yeah, so we will, continue working on this going forward. But again, because it was not totally completed to where I was satisfactory with it, at least everyone would get that same 3% increase.
Perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
And Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
Okay, number 9, the treasurer recommends the board approve the disposal of the attached list of assets as they are of no longer use to the district. Some items will be traded in or sold at a public auction using public surplus.
Moved.
Second?
I think the list was in the board packet,
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
Are there any questions on that? Okay, Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz?
Yes.
Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
All right, athletic facility discussion.
Big sigh.
Are we ready? So at this point, we need to, as we talked about moving funds earlier, we need to, so I'm gonna give my little spiel as to what I feel like this whole process should look like. The kindergarten teacher in me always, I have to have a visual of what I think things should appear like, because I think we all will move ahead and have this, a similar idea, but I see it definitely as like a triangle, and I know we've spoken to community members, and we have a lot of interest from businesses and individuals in the community that want to contribute to this facility. A little history, we currently are using Spire, for those of you that, you know, I know most of you are here every month, but our agreement with them expires in 2027. If we are to continue using that facility, we will have to enter into another agreement with them to use those facilities, which I suspect will not probably be very amicable. It'll probably be a tough sell for both of us. But we're moving forward with a plan of building our own facility right here on property for our athletes. And it's a long time coming, but we know that we have businesses and community members and alumni who are very interested in being financially present in that process. So what I envision this looking like is our district's contribution, establishing a foundation of sorts where we can have contributions made from the community, perhaps businesses, those that, you know, alumni, boosters, supporters, and then we're going to have a portion of that from the community. So last month, our meeting is so late in
Yes,
June that I
I
feel like
know.
it's been a longer time than that. But last month, we had Russell here from GPD, and he presented what our facility would, what the vision was that we've come up with. We have met as our athletic facility planning committee. We've thrown all kinds of ideas out there, what we wanted, what we didn't like, what we thought we had to have, what we couldn't live without. You know, we basically threw it all together. And so at that point, we came up with lots of in-between. I won't bore everybody with the details, but we've come up with 4 options that offer some different pieces and parts, and then the price tag that goes with that. So I will lean that over to you, and then I can jump in when you need me to.
So, option 1, and I, you know, just to do a quick recap, right? So option 1 consisted of a disc golf course with new water and electric utilities for the baseball and softball, so that would include restrooms, some additional parking, 4 practice fields for soccer, pickleball courts for the community, new public restrooms, locker rooms, weight room, concession stands, and storage. It's a 8,000 square foot building. It includes a storage building. It includes a new football/soccer stadium with 4,500 seating, an 8-lane track, artificial field striped for football and soccer. It includes a band pavilion, a new press box, a band shell, and a new lighting and sound system. So that is the option that we have started off with, right? We did have a quick conversation with maybe adding in option one, resurfacing of the middle school tennis courts, just so we are covering all the additional, all the sports that, that would utilize. The cost to resurface the tennis courts was only $148,000. I shouldn't say only, but it is only that. So option one, right, the bare minimum that the district would start off with had a price tag of $15,957,606. Again, we would add the $150,000 in, so we're talking probably $16,150,000. So what that means to the taxpayers is we would put a levy on for 1.87 mils, and it would cost the taxpayer $65 per $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value. So if you go on the auditor's website, you would bring up your house, you could look at what it is, again, we made sure we put in the words the appraised value, so you could find out what number we're talking about. So if it is a $300,000 house and it's $65 per 100,000, it's 3 times that $65. So we kind of talked about those different options. We also in there talked about being able to reduce the millage of the current bond issuance that we have. Now, again, that wouldn't be reflected on the ballot language. That would be something that I would work with the county auditor to reduce it almost by a full mill. Because we have collected, I think this is paid off in 2030. And so we could reduce that millage until it falls off by 1 mill. Right now, this is we are collecting 3 mills on the building millage. I'm sorry, on the building issuance, bond issuance for all the new buildings. We could reduce that to 2, and then again, we would increase it by the 1.87 mils. So again, it would not have as much of an impact. That 1.87 would only, actually technically, you would feel it as only 0.87 mils. So that's something we talked about. Let's just talk about option 2. Option 2 would go up to $20.5 million. Let me just see, I think the only thing that increased there was the public restroom, locker room, weight room, concession stand storage was going from 8,000 square feet to 16,500. Right, so it's gonna double the size of that building. Option 3 went up to $22.8 million. That actually did make a soccer venue with artificial turf, right? Seating, yes. So included seating, a press box, and artificial turf on one of the soccer fields, or one of the 4 practice fields. So that way they could have their own games there at the same time if there was something else that needed to use the stadium.
That's the only addition for option 2, is doubling that building? And it goes up 4 million?
Yep, that's a large cost. If you look at the breakdown of the original costs on how much that concrete building is, yes.
That's crazy.
That is
So
crazy.
option
It makes the
4,
administrative building
yeah.
look little.
Option 4
It does make
increased,
the
yeah.
administrative building look little.
Well, and, that was built 2 years ago as compared to 2 years,
Like the monolith that it is now.
So, option 4 increased about 800,000, and I think we added some extra parking in, I think is the
Yeah.
additional,
If you want to, it's the parking.
yeah, it's
'cause
the
you can
parking
see-
here,
yeah.
right there in the corner, yeah. So again, we're talking about, at the lowest option of going to taxpayers for 1.87 mils, which is about, again, $65 per $100,000. At the larger end, all the bells and whistles, is a 2.76 mil levy, which would cost the taxpayer $97 per $100,000 a year. So if you have a $300,000 home, it's gonna cost you about $300. But again, if we reduce it, it would only cost you $200 with all the bells and whistles.
A year.
A year. again, for 30 years. And again, we can tweak that a little bit, so, you know, to take off 5 years, the taxpayer is paying $8 per more $100,000, but we're taking off 5 years of it. So I guess, you know, we have to kind of decide on that. Also, if we decide to put a portion towards, you know, the facility, so if it's taking option 1 and we're putting, you know, some money towards it, a few million or whatever the board decides. Or is it, we're gonna go with option 1 and the board's gonna cover, you know, some of the things in option 2 with their contribution. So that's kind of, you know, what we kind of have to decide tonight. Because we get to the point where we're on a time constraint. So if we do wanna put this on the ballot in November, there's 2 things. So I did get it from our legal. So if the district wants to issue more than $13.5 million in bonds, we have to do a request of state consent and submit Part 1 state consent application by July 7th, which would include a resolution of necessity and a resolution authorizing state consents.
To go on the November ballot?
To go on the November ballot. If the amount is less than the 13.5, then we just have the normal 2 resolution deadlines by August 6th. So,
So
most
why
likely
don't-
we'll have a special meeting, you know, if we decide to go forward and put this on the ballot, just to get these 2 resolutions, because again, there are 2 new resolutions needed by August 6th to submit to the Board of Elections. We have to do 1 resolution, I send it to the county auditor, we get back a certification, we do a 2nd resolution. So, and again, I think the August board is after August 6th, so we'll definitely need,
So what happens to these numbers if we use the $8 million that we just
Right.
decided to put in a fund for this, or $7 million?
Well, that's for this
7
other
and a half.
stuff too.
right, so, you know, I would not put all the money, you know, I would not.
Not all.
Right,
Of
so.
course, not all.
Right,
But
but, you know, if
some,
we did, you know,
Half, even 2/3?
we even talked
I
about.
mean, we have a cushion. I think we have a responsibility to spend some of the money we already have.
Oh, sure, I agree.
So,
So like, you know, when we had talked to,
If we did option 2 and the board paid the difference between option 1 and option 2 and went to the levy, or went to the taxpayers and asked for option 1 pricing,
buy option 2, but only ask the taxpayers for option 1.
so let's see what that
Right, I mean, pay
contribution
for
is,
option 2.
15.
is that 3.5 million? 3.6 million? So it's half of what we moved,
Or even
It's
option
four,
3.
actually, it's 4.5 million,
4.5
yeah,
million.
so it's 4.5,
The difference is 4.5 million?
between option 1 and option 2.
Oh, yeah, it's higher.
And
You know,
even if we do say option 2, then we're still talking about continuing to improve it and add on to it as the years go on, right? We're not gonna settle for option 2,
Start with it.
we're gonna start with it. Is that what we're all thinking?
It's the most fiscally responsible option, while also providing services to the taxpayers that had paid this money already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
If this
We
was
need to
like, we were
spend the money
saying,
they
give us
already
this
gave
money
us.
now, or we were like, you've just given this money, we'll move it over.
Yeah.
But I think, at least what I've heard, and share, you know, your guys' thoughts too, I hear an overwhelming testament of what services do I get for my money, which is a fair question from a taxpayer. you know? And I think that putting a place here where people can go walk and play and enjoy after school that isn't necessarily, you know, one of the various bars or a seasonal, you know, vacation area. I love what we have in this area, don't get me wrong, but I've walked the Lodge Trail like 5 trillion times, and it can't be the only other place that we have for that.
Have you done
As
it
well
in
as give our
February?
students a place to train. I mean, I'm pretty sure when our state athletes were training for track, Spire had events that barred them from using those facilities that are the equivalents of where they were going to compete, and so we had to find alternatives that included paying for transportation. And sure, I get it's not a lot, but when you look at, we're gonna fund this over 15, 30 years, and you take that amount and you times it by 30 years, it becomes a very significant number. Plus, our kids don't deserve that, just at the bottom line. Kids need services. You guys have held out for long enough. I think
Yeah,
that you
we
guys
all
are.
agree that we're done with Spire.
Yeah, and I think oh, yeah, no, for sure. But I'm saying, like, I think that going with option 2 and then offsetting it for the taxpayer it's a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Shelley, when did you say our current bond is up?
So that one, our last payment on that bond is in 2030. So, again, so this year is, we're collecting 3 mills on this bond issuance, right? So we would be able to reduce it to 2 mills for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years before it falls off. So if that was the case and we did, the 1.87 mills, the only effect that the taxpayer would feel would actually be 0.87 mills
For 5 years.
for 5 years. And then, so basically, today, let's just say this, right? Today, the PI levy fell off last year. So when that fell off, we are currently between the bond issuance, and with the bond issuance, we have an 034 maintenance account that is a 0.33 mills that we're collecting that goes along with the OFCC project. So right now, the taxpayer on these issuance is 3.33 mills, right? So what we are proposing, right, reduce it by 1, add 1.87.
So then what's the net then?
So it's gonna go from,
The
the taxpayer's gonna,
taxpayer's it'll be,
correct, right, and I can get that number, I don't have that
Okay,
quite
you're-
yet.
Well, it's not, but I mean, instead of the 371, we're down to 333, and then if we go down to 233, we're gonna be at 4.2. So there's still an increase, but not as drastic of an increase.
I mean, together, the two, I wanna know the number for what the household is gonna pay to
But the
Geneva
difference,
schools.
but the difference between
year.
option 2 and option 3 is literally at that rate gonna be about $9 a year.
I know, I'm not saying that, I just want the
Yeah, I
number.
know, I'm just, my concern is going back and asking again. That's what I'm afraid of.
But with the foundation money, do you think you could get the
And I
difference,
get, yeah, I know, I'm just,
to cover option 3, as
I
we?
just don't wanna make a mistake.
Remind me
just
what
don't wanna
option
make a
3 is
mistake.
again? 'Cause my
Option
iPad died.
3
$93.
added the one soccer field would become
Here, I can show you.
more of
Oh,
a
stadium, right,
stadium,
okay, okay.
correct,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, so that, yes,
So here's option,
so option
2.
3,
Gorgeous.
option 3, yeah, so yeah, you brought that up, would
Option
include
3.
this more.
Yeah. Well, and we could keep growing that foundation fund
I know,
until we have the money for option 3. Like, that's what I mean about,
I know, I hear what you're saying, I'm not discounting that, I'm nervous and I don't wanna mess it up.
So that's 2.3 million.
I think if we in good
In between
faith
2
spend
and
the money
3.
we have, the voters will help us build a stadium. I think they will. They know we need it, they know we want it, it's what's best for our students, and that's the bottom line.
Well, it doesn't make sense to start with option 1, because that building is, to double that building, I mean, if you do it after the fact, it's gonna be twice as much.
I know.
Or 3 times as much. But I think you're.
It's definitely between the 2 and 3,
I like option 2 for now because we can build it out, and our soccer players are still going to have an expansive increase to what they're playing on now.
Yep.
Yes.
Even though it sucks that they're not getting a stadium, and I
Well,
get that.
they can play on the.
Correct, and the
They can
the
play in
stadium will be
stadium.
aligned.
That would just be a second venue.
To give them their
Be-
own.
The reason I like option 2 is it provides facilities for the band, it provides better athletic facilities that can be cleanly. It is not just an intramural piece of athletic wear. It's arts, it's graduation, it is events, it is community events, it is the band. It is so much better to be practicing on turf under lights in a controlled environment than the mosquito-infested side pit that we have now. It's horrible. I see the people from Gamba nodding their head. Thursday nights are despicable in the summer in that aspect, and like, I know it seems stupid and menial, but
No, it doesn't, I don't mean it to, I don't hope it's not
no,
coming
I'm
off
saying
that
for
way.
me,
That's
when
not
I'm
what I
talking about
mean.
millions of your dollars, like, I think it freaks all of us.
Yeah, it's a
No, it
little
Right.
does, I get it, I'm
'Cause
not
we were
trying
over
to be a
there at one
spendthrift.
point, and then
I'm
it's
just-
like, hey, we're gonna move $7 million into a fund today, and you're like, is that the right thing to do? And I hear you, and so it's stressful. So this is a disclaimer for me, telling you guys I'm kind of stupid, and I don't want to mess this up. I think it starts with the most services at the best fiscal position, and
Yeah, I agree with that.
yeah.
And let us know. You know our emails. Most of you know my phone number. Let me know what you think. But yeah, that's where I want to go.
I haven't
So
gotten any
what do you
mean
need
emails in a
from
while,
us
so if
to-
you guys
to
want to
move
fire
So,
one off.
there's a few things, right? So I guess we need to figure out, first of all, as a board, are we putting this on the November ballot? Right? I mean, so
And that
that's
we
the
have to
most
decide
important thing.
today?
Yeah, we have to decide
because of
this
the
right
deadline,
now.
July 6th,
Yeah,
right.
I think that it's in our best interest.
Yeah,
Yes.
so we vote on that?
Well, no, I don't think, I don't think we have to vote on anything quite yet. I just want to, so I know where we're moving forward.
We
So
should be in a position to, if we need to have the special sessions, to meet that earlier deadline, to make it easier on you, and to have the community conversation. I think that would be best. I don't know what my colleagues think, but I think it would be the best for the administrators working on this to at least be ready, and if we don't have to do that, then at least we are ready.
Yes, November.
Fall ballot, not fall meeting. Okay,
You sure we don't have to vote on that?
so, well, I just want to get all this written down, and then if you want to vote on everything,
I feel
right?
like we do.
I feel like we need a motion.
Yes.
So,
So I guess we want to, first of all, I guess, what option are we going to the taxpayers with? Like, I guess,
We have to
So you
decide
wanna know
what
the
we
amount.
want to contribute.
right, okay, so let's
Let's start with
start with option, right?
What's the board going to contribute? Because that needs to be decided first before we.
Decide what option.
Doesn't that change all
Or-
those numbers?
It will
It
change,
will
yes.
change, yes.
Yes. Because, if we go with option 2, if that's $20 million, and we say the board's gonna give, $3.5 million, or whatever they want,
All right.
put towards it.
The fund we just allocated
7.5 million,
covers, I
But
wrote it down.
but that has to cover the other.
But that has to, cover some of
Has
these
fixed
capital
buses
improvements.
And stuff, and building and the roof.
So what if we did
Because remember, we
theoretically?
don't have our PI coming in anymore, so
Correct.
that's part of that
Where did I
appropriation
put
that
that?
we're moving.
So would we be proposing an option tonight? I'm writing out a motion, like I'm doing hooked on phonics here.
We decided
I
to reserve
told
8
you,
million.
Lowell, I
say
listened
we
to
put
you.
4 million toward,
Motion to
think we should
propose
put
option
half of what
2
we
with an
have.
offset of $4.5 million, taking into consideration a potential reduction of 1 mil. Would that be
Well, I don't wanna put that 1 mil in the writing,
perfect?
because it will not be included on the ballot
I
language.
was,
We would have to
I
go.
was just going to say, we can't
Yes, intermix.
I
Yeah.
told you I'm stupid.
Yeah, no, that's
rock,
it.
self-talk, not okay.
we all know different things, Brock.
So option 2 with the board contributing the difference between option 1 and option 2. Does that make sense?
I'm ignorant.
Say that
Oh,
again.
I see.
I
Yes,
see what
see,
you're,
then we
yeah, I
don't-
see what she's saying.
Yep.
The
Then
board
the number
contributing the
doesn't- then we
difference
don't know the
between
number.
option 1 and option 2.
That's what I'm trying to do. That's perfect, is
Yeah.
trying to make
Yeah.
it so it's a potential or movable amount.
Yeah,
So, first of all, I
That's
wanna
good.
make sure, do we wanna add in the resurfacing of the tennis courts of 147, blah,
When
blah,
did we
blah?
do it last?
I want to, what did we say,
It's been years.
I want to say 26, 27 years.
What?
I
no,
took-
No.
they do it every couple years for
This is
part of it.
digging, this is
They
like,
don't do the full-on.
this is completely
This is,
resurfacing, like.
this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
taking
Taking
and
out-
removing everything.
this
is
is
the
not
whole-
jarring.
I
over
still
the
think we
top
should
like you
move it,
would.
by the way.
No, I think.
That surface is never gonna be good as long as that's where the tennis
The
courts
only,
are.
I came up with, I asked Jen Crosley, that's how I know. And she said the last time it had been done, like, where they
Fully
removed
done.
everything and did it from the ground up, it's been that long.
Yeah.
But yes, for that, just being sealed over and repainted, yes,
Well, and it's-
multiple times, I'm sure.
Why can't we include it in this neighborhood with our facility? Tennis courts.
It's just where it's built right now.
I know, and it's a terrible
but,
spot.
Yeah, no, I
But
agree.
again, that's
It's
That's
terrible
just why
parking,
it's there.
it's terrible,
I get that, but that's something we
whatever
could
it's
also
called.
add on if you're wanting to
Looking
add
at-
on pieces of, through foundation
Spectators?
funds. That's one of those things. And I think that's something we need to work with our boosters and alumni and those types of, we could use that to push out for donations and things of that nature as
Yeah.
well.
My point is,
I
if we're gonna
wonder-
do the complete resurfacing, which is
I
expensive,
hear you.
how much more is it? Just
Right.
move it to a better location that won't be so wet, it won't be so,
And I don't
Wacky.
know if this necessarily is, I mean, I didn't say
Oh, now you're
I-
wondering what they gave you the,
right, the
okay.
cost for, if this is just, let me,
Can we handle that separate? Does that have to be part of this?
no.
So that's
We
the
can make
question,
that
right? Like,
separate.
could we,
Did we want to roll it into option one, basically?
or is it part of a permanent improvement?
Right,
Is that what
correct.
you're
If
thinking?
it's-
We could do that as a permanent improvement. That's a
if
good
it's
idea.
you know, like minimal on
Seems
here.
like it needs to be separated.
Yeah.
So we could
Let's do
keep
it that
we
way.
could just keep this separate for now
Yeah.
and discuss this.
And then we
with-
can dig a little deeper, Marty, and see what we
Yes.
find. That sounds, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's go back. So let me get the exact dollar amount between the two. I just have a rough estimate. 15.
Is there any way to record intent?
Okay, so the difference between the two is 4,585,624.
look at me, I was so close.
So Shelley, if we happen to get, a large, let's say we get a large donation, someone wants to earmark it toward our sports facility. We can't pay down a bond with that, right?
Probably not right away, correct? I mean, so that's where you would make the foundation, you know, like, and that's where you could use that money to start on options 3
Right.
and 4, you know, and put those improvements to that.
Right.
We're gonna have a Cybulski wing of the
Uh,
stadium.
We might be able to buy a seat.
We can buy
2000
tickets.
Heck, maybe I'll buy one and we can sit next to each other.
In 2010.
I know, right? We'll each have a chair named after us.
No, I was just
I
thinking,
have a chair
so,
here, it's nice.
if we went out and tried to secure some
Right.
additional funding, that either that rolls into phase 3, phase 4, or how, you know, what does that look like?
You
What
know
are we
what? I
working
like
towards
calling
when
it
we go
phases
out and
better.
talk to, yeah,
Sorry,
Phases,
Michelle.
yeah.
I like calling it phases better than options.
yeah,
I don't feel like choosing option 2 eliminates options 3 and 4. That's,
right.
and that's maybe just, it's semantics to me, but we don't have to choose. We choose where we start and we go from there.
Right. This is just which option we're choosing to
To
go.
the starting point.
To go
the
to the
starting line.
taxpayers
Yeah.
for, right?
Okay, so what do we want to do then? If the difference is essentially 4.6 between 1 and 2? Thoughts?
Let's hit it with the offset.
I say the offset between the two.
So, okay.
So put the levy, the 1.87 mils.
So here's the thing too, right? So we have, I mean, do we want to push this out 30 years? Do we want to push it out 29? So, you know, it's $2 more a year for 29 years. So if you have, you know, a $100,000 home, right? So it's, let's just say it's $67 a year. 67 times 29, right? Is, so this is 1493. 19, how about 1943? And then if we did $65 at $30 a year, it's 1950. So it's gonna save the it's gonna save the taxpayer $7 overall
A year.
No, total. In 30
Total.
in
for the
30
year. If they have a $100,000 home, right, let's just say, so if you have a $300,000 home, it's gonna save you $21
Over 29 years.
over
Over
29 years.
What can I buy with
Now
that?
that's fiscal conservation.
I say you leave it at around 30.
And then 70,
That's what I
Yeah,
would do.
I agree
Let's just
too.
do 30.
That's silly.
1825. So
What's the lifespan of the stadium?
Well, everything's different, so
Hopefully
this
longer
is,
than 30 years,
yes.
right? Hopefully.
some of it,
Well,
not all
we're
of
gonna
it.
have to put
Well,
in
obviously,
maintenance,
like the field
obviously.
needs there's things that
Correct,
need to
right.
be
Yeah,
maintained, like
maintenance
the
and all
field,
that.
but.
Right.
We'll do better with those plans. We've been doing better with our maintenance for our new buildings that we already have. We're on that right track with that, I think.
Yeah,
in general.
Okay, so-
because a new stadium is going to require more of that money we just
Excuse me.
appropriated. Right?
Mm-hmm,
So maintenance goes up.
mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so,
So,
I like option 2 because I
Yeah.
believe if I recall what Ms. Crossley was saying, if we have those extra facilities where everyone can practice, it actually lowers our maintenance costs because we're not gonna be sharing the turf between 10, 12, 15 different activities. It's gonna alleviate some of that stress
Stress on the
more evenly
property.
over all of the potential fields. So that would be a more fiscally responsible option in that sense as well.
so,
All right, let's do it.
the board is choosing to proceed with option or whatever, number 2, with the board contribution of the difference between option 1 and option 2 of $4,585,624,000.
No sense?
There's no sense. With,
Sus.
right,
And
with,
12 cents.
with 30 years repayment,
Let's rephrase that.
repayment,
That
Kevin
was
always
good.
did sense.
yes, he did.
Shelley could
Correct me,
attest to that.
He'd correct me too. I'd go
Teach-
$500, he'd go $499.12.
With a 30-year repayment, right? So it will kind of look then what option 1 looks like to the taxpayer. So we will go to the taxpayers with option number, the cost for option number 1.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so we need a
Cost
motion,
of 1,
right,
picture of
motion.
2.
Rock's
Got the
got his
motion
motion
written?
ready.
I don't have it
Maybe.
written just
Here
yet.
All right, we're ready. Let's go.
I'm gonna call your mom, tell you you didn't do your homework.
make sure you put the minimum years repayment on there of 30 in your resolution.
So motion to propose option 2. That's where I'm at.
Motion to propose.
My original was
With
motion to
board
propose option 2 with
contributions.
4.5 million offset. So motion to propose option 2 with offset,
With the board contribution,
with board contribution instead.
$4,585,624.
So, yes,
Was that full number again? 4 million?
$4,585,000, $585,624.
624. And 0 cents.
Correct.
correct.
With the number 12.
And to go to the taxpayers in the amount of, right?
In
how long are
Wait.
these prices guaranteed?
in the amount of,
15,957,606.
and no cents.
No sense.
And
For
is that
30
it?
years.
For 30 years.
Yep.
And that's a period after that, right?
I think so.
All
And
right,
then,
perfect.
then you're gonna send me a snapshot. No, I can take it off
I
the
can do
recording.
that. I can make it prettier too. So, we have a motion to propose option 2 with a board contribution of $4,585,624 to go to the taxpayers in the amount of $15,957,000, $957,606 for 30 years.
Do we put estimated before any of those numbers? That's not gonna be the exact number, is it?
I think for right now, you don't have to write
All
an
right.
estimate. I mean, who's making that motion?
Brock is.
Brock made the motion.
Brock made the motion?
I'll second.
I'll make the motion, yeah.
other discussion? Are we good?
Let's do this.
Roll call.
Mrs. Krieg?
Yes.
Mrs. Milliken Dixon?
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz? Mr. Pierson?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cybulski?
Yes.
So, just so you know, I will contact legal tomorrow and find out when, because again, we'll have that resolution that will be needed prior to the 7th. The 4th is a holiday, so hopefully you guys have time for a quick meeting Monday through Thursday of next week.
I'm out of town. Hopefully no one else is out of town. Depends on what day, what time.
Yeah.
What are we thinking? I can do Monday or Tuesday, or Thursday. I can't do Wednesday.
This is for next week?
This will be for next week. yes.
We're talking
It's
about an
already-
evening meeting like
It's
our
already
regular-
July 1 on Tuesday.
Like
I
6:30
could do Monday through
situation?
Wednesday. After 6 o'clock.
So at 6.
Sure.
I would recommend as far back in the week as you can put it in the event that we are able to get some hires in to beat the July 10th deadline for some of those positions.
So what, you can't make it Wednesday?
Not at night. Wednesday I could do first thing in the morning. but
What time in the morning?
I could do 7.
I could do 7.
I can do 7.
Marty?
Oh. You're killing me,
I got a
Smalls.
45-minute drive, come on.
Are we talking about Tuesday the 1st?
No, Wednesday the 2nd.
Wednesday the 2nd? 7 a.m.?
Santa's coming.
All right.
7 a.m.?
So I will give that date and time to Bricker Graydon, Catherine, to see, make sure she gets us that resolution in time and everything we need. So I will email them both Mr. Gerhart at GPD and Catherine tomorrow morning, first thing, and let them know how we are proceeding. And I will also let the municipal advisors know.
I don't know my work.
So 7 a.m., July 2nd,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
Got it.
Middle to 7 a.m.
And I'll make sure that's feasible for her. I mean, obviously, she'll know that.
Have
was
we
huge.
discussed?
Okay. Legislative report?
I'm going to keep it short. Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
just going to talk about local people today. So we're monitoring 131 active bills. I'm going to summarize them all. Just
No,
kidding.
you're
We're going to
not.
start with monitoring. I'm looking at, it looks like we have, House Bill 43 is going to try to waive the required minimum instructional hours for Ashtabula Lakeside High School, and that is because of the unfortunate situation that had occurred. We saw this introduced a few months ago, so you probably have heard about it. Obviously, we're looking at it becoming a proposed vote soon. I'm actually really happy with how our local elected officials have moved on that. It's good to see it, and we're wishing everyone at Lakeside well. Next is HB 129. This falls back in line with, you're going to hear me talk about a few bills with funding. I think 335 is what everyone's talking about. This kind of ties into that. This is by David Thomas. It's going to limit the ability of school districts to reallocate unvoted property tax millage and to include certain property and school district income taxes in the calculation of their, what right now we call it a 20 mil floor. They've chose the language here, the school district's effective millage floor. We also have House Bill 154. This requires school district approval of residential community reinvestment property tax exemptions. This is actually kind of great for us because we've gotten really burned by this in the past where maybe a large company moves in that would typically allocate a lot of school district taxes in, and they get an exemption through a host of issues. We've seen this even with non-payment with certain local entities that have cost us millions of dollars. Next, moving on, sorry guys, it's 36 pages, no joke. We have House Bill 248. This is various changes regarding auditor estate. This is House Bill 248 was proposed by David Thomas. I'm going to post this well, I'm going to send this over and hopefully post it on the website. I've linked all of the language for each one for the people who actually want to look through these. House Bill 309 is going to modify law governing county budget commissions, property taxations, alternative apportionment formulas for local governments. And then our star of the moment, House Bill 335, modifies laws governing property taxation, county budget commissions, county sales taxation, and alternate apportionment formulas for local government and public libraries. House Bill 369, this is Sarah Fowler Arthur bill, changes diagnostic assessments for grades kindergarten through 2 to end-of-year nationally norm-referenced diagnostic assessments, and for the 3rd grade to beginning-of-year nationally norm-referenced diagnostic assessments. House Bill 375 will establish a small district magnet community school pilot program. And Senate Bill 44 will allow concurrent scholarships and allow people to receive educational choice scholarships or pilot project scholarships in either an autism or John Peterson special needs scholarship. And they can make the appropriation for each appropriate school district. Senate Bill 66 for tax levies. This is Senator O'Brien. Introduced 2425. This talks about emergency levies, substitute levies, all inside millage and school district income tax levies, and how the calculation of a school district's effective millage for is calculated based on those appropriations. And that, I believe, is it for me.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brock.
Thank you, guys.
ATEC?
The Aspire GED graduation is happening, will happen this evening at 6 p.m. So congratulations to all those who got their GED. Construction is wrapping up in July, and the equipment that is coming from the $486,000 equipment grant has been arriving. The GRIT program has been happening this summer so far, and we have our next meeting tomorrow morning.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have anybody for public comments? I know it's been a long night. Come on up.
Okay, if I remember, I have to do my name and my address, right?
Name and address, please,
Okay.
and you have 5 minutes.
Name is Audrey Pate. Address is 1976 Behringer Place, Geneva. I have 2 things. The first thing is a long overdue thank you for your hiring of full-time nurses in all of the school buildings. Yeah, long overdue thank you. So thank you so much. It makes a huge difference to me personally, and it has been amazing. And the one here at the high school is phenomenal. And at Austinburg, and at the middle school, because I've dealt with all of them. My second thing is the band director position. I am coming to you and asking, begging, pleading, urging to look outside of our school district. We need an experienced, capable, strong band director to keep these kids moving in a forward, positive direction. There are several of us parents that work so hard to just keep it afloat and keep it organized and keep it going. And I just would really like to see someone come in that is going to continue that for them in the education and furthering our shows. And just please look outside of our district. I have several reasons why I felt the need to come and say that. You will get an email from me with the nitty-gritty reasons that I don't want to share like this. Right. I feel like it's probably not the best thing to do. But you will get an email from me with my detailed version of why I think this is so necessary. So just please and thank you and try hard. Oh, Lord. I could have smiled or something if you'd told me.
Eric, do it all.
Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Audrey.
Anyone else? Okay. To my page. So,
Board member reports, I have a few things. So I was blessed enough to be able to attend graduation. Very, very humbling to stand up there and shake hands and hand out diplomas. It was a real honor and just a real pleasure. I really, really enjoyed it. So super proud of all of our graduates. It was a beautiful ceremony. Of course, went off like a well-oiled machine, as it always does. The choir sounded beautiful. The band did amazing. The kids that were ushers, the young ladies and gentlemen, they just did a beautiful job. It was just fantastic. Mrs. Markajon does a great job getting everybody organized, and like I said, it just goes off like they've practiced it for 100 days in a row, and I know they've only done it for a little bit, but it always looks beautiful, and it goes off seamlessly. So a few things that I'm aware of that have happened, just because I know families that have had kids that went, but we had students that attended Buckeye Boys and Girls State. So we had, it's kind of near and dear to me because our son, our oldest, was accepted to go to Buckeye Boys State, but he was the COVID year, and they canceled everything, so he didn't get to have that experience. And it was at Miami University, which, in an odd twist of fate, he ended up going to Miami University for college, and he just graduated in May, so it was kind of a weird thing, but, so he did get to experience the whole Miami thing, but so we had two young men that attended the boys' state, which was Jovan Sanchez and Zachary Dunn. And we had two young ladies that attended girls' state at Bowling Green University, and that was Sophia Ellick and Bella Baker. I'm going to reach out to each of them to see if this meeting was crazy long. So and they had just been getting back. So I thought maybe if everybody's up for it, maybe they could come and say a little bit next time and tell us about their experience. But it's an amazing program, and it's sponsored by the American Legion. The George Call Post here locally always sponsors our students to go. It's just a phenomenal program, and we're lucky to have that kind of community involvement to get our students there. I know personally my daughter, and then I know Hannah Dunn, and I think Joseph Pecor, and I feel like there was one other student from Geneva, but I'm losing the name, maybe not. Attended Hobie this past weekend, which is the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Conference at John Carroll University. Again, phenomenal program. You can get a nomination from someone at school. Mrs. DeBacker nominated my daughter. But it was an excellent program. She had the best time. Slept for about 18 hours when she came home. Long days, but she came back, and I had to laugh because this morning she got up and she was doing things for organizing for, she's a varsity cheerleader for football, and they were trying to come up with a plan for camp, and she's like, I'm just putting my Hobie skills to use today, and she's organizing all the things, and I said, hey, that's the way to go, that's what you have to do. So, but another great program that is offered to our kids, and they also, all of these programs offer scholarships, which is the beautiful thing about it. So even if there's a financial hardship, we usually can find a way to get kids there. So if you know a student that would like to attend, and if there's a financial piece, let us know, because we might be able to still make that happen for them. Myself, and a few other individuals here from Geneva High School, Mr. King, Mrs. Unsinger, Mrs. Blevins, Ms. Ball, Ms. DeBacker, Ms. Long, Mr. Hunt, and myself, we headed down to Parris Island this past month to the Marine Corps' Educator Workshop. I'm not going to lie to you, there were days I did not think I was going to survive. It was an absolutely amazing experience, like crazy emotional, never, like, Ms. DeBacker went as well. She did rappelling, she was awesome. We did all the things. It was just amazing. They bring you onto base. You get the DIs are with you. They yell at you. You get off the bus. You get on the footprints. They run you in. They're screaming at you as if you are a recruit. You eat in the mess hall. You do all of the things as if you are coming onto Parris Island as a new recruit. When we got there, we ate with new recruits, and the first day that, I think it was the first day that we were there, the one young man that I ate with had only been there for 8 days and sat there and cried the whole meal. And he was so homesick.
And then I found out that he was the age of my oldest. So I did really, really well. And then I got up and I turned around and there's Kim's crying, Brenda Unseger's crying. We all turned around and we're like, slammed our sunglasses on and walked out. They're all like, you have to stop crying now. We're like, we're trying, we just can't help it. We're not Marines, we shouldn't be here. But it was just an amazing experience. So they let us go through all of the pieces and parts of being a recruit, all the way through to graduation. So you get to see the whole, whole transformation. We got to enjoy a social at the Brigadier General's home. Like, he and his wife brought us in, let us look at their home, provided refreshments, talked to us. I mean, it was just phenomenal. The whole experience was phenomenal. I never dreamed it would be quite as emotional and impactful as it was, there was days there I'm like, I would never do this again, but I think now looking back on it, I think I would probably do it again. So that was totally awesome. I wanted to thank Mr. Chenoweth and Mr. McCoy for getting everything set up. I know everything came back from Spire, and it was a hullabaloo from graduation, and everybody's on vacation, and it's so difficult to get stuff set up to record our meetings. So thank you guys for doing all the extra stuff. We appreciate you so much. I also wanted to thank our retirees that are leaving us. Mr. Riley is retiring at the end of July, and then Mr. Poland, our middle school principal, is also retiring. I think today was his last day, I believe. And then my last piece was I had reached out to Dr. Patterson, who was part of the Patterson Cup Fair School Funding Plan. We've known him for quite a while. We've went to church with him for years, but he has been busy in Columbus. We were hoping to have him come and present tonight, but he has been in Columbus working, trying to do all the things. And I said, you stay where you are and keep doing all the things. We can connect with you another month and have a presentation here. So he was on the agenda, but he has just not been in town. So hopefully we'll get to have him come in July or at another meeting and get to hear from him. He's absolutely amazing as well. So that's what I have. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
I have something.
Sure.
We received a correspondence from a parent and band, and I want to preface this really quickly, and it said, essentially, what is up with us always losing band directors every few years? And I want to talk about this specifically, not in a negative connotation, in a really positive one, because there are people in this room, and it's the same 4 people that do absolutely everything, and I mean period after that, for the band. There are no exceptions. We have King, we have Pate, we have Lechner here tonight. They do everything. They are the only parents that don't just show up and say, well, when I did this in 1992, we were the best, and then tilt their shoulders and walk off. And the only other person that took that mentality with our band the entirety of this period that we've had in the past 5 years has been our current band director, who we are losing to her hometown, which is the best way to lose a band director, because you'd be crazy not to go back to your hometown. That's like the ultimate honor. And in that email, it said, what do you, the board, think is appropriate for solving this problem? And as someone who's been both not on the board and in band and put tons of volunteering hours in, not as much as the people I just mentioned, we have to stop being parents and former alumni and consultants that only offer criticism and aren't there helping people learn how to march, and aren't explaining why embouchure is important in holding an instrument parallel, and helping someone understand the difference in reeds, or stick length, or stroke length, or reading 30-second notes, or what does a dotted 16th note mean. Because it's really cool to go out there all dressed up and play an instrument, but if no one teaches anyone how to read it, and we currently have 4 people who are the only people being supportive, we're gonna lose a lot more people. We've already done that. We have to stop. So my advice to those people that say, well, what do we do? Be stern against people that come in and offer nothing but problems and no solutions. They're not there to help you, I promise you. And you guys have done remarkably at that, by the way, which is why you are where you are. But we need more of you. We need to take the load off. Second, I want to thank Miss Anna Brown and her fiance Tristan Acker, who are amazing musicians. I've played guitar with them. I have played drums with them. I have seen them sing while I may not be the best, very accurately, and I can tell you that They are some of the best musicians and the first that have picked up the gauntlet and embraced all of our traditions. So much so that when I first met Anna Brown, I had went and looked for an original copy of We Got the Beat. I could not find it. I went to her and I explained, it's been in this drawer for the past 20 years, at least 16, and I couldn't find it. She had it on her desk. She said, do you have the older copy? I can't find the cymbal arrangement, and I want to incorporate it into a composition. We're going to write it out in a program, and we're going to distribute it in everyone's first day folders, the first song that they learned. No other instructor had done that. In a format that they could put on their lyre. I don't know if many people know what that means, but to a musician, that's a make or break when you're a freshman and you don't know how to play. And that shows a lot of credibility. Right. It shows a lot of credibility. These kids need to be treated as students and musicians, and she has done that. Anytime there has been an exemption that comes into the curriculum where it states, hey, this is going to interfere with learning the art of reading and performing music, she stepped up and said, no, we are a graded class. And I know how frustrating that is, trust me. I had to do it with Mr. and Mrs. Carroll and miss other things, but at the same time, it is a graded class. Those are our rules by default, and she's following them. The last thing is, I don't know what comes next, but I can say thank you very much to Ms. Brown and to Mr. Acker, and I can say whoever follows in their footsteps has to be someone that is absolutely embraced by the alumni, embraced by people in Gamba, and most importantly, embraced by the students of which they will instruct. And I want to make a promise while you guys are in this room, so you can hit me in the head with it anytime you need, that I will volunteer on every Thursday night practice that I can possibly go to with drum clinics. I will pass out what I need to do to volunteer through legal, and let me know what other coverage you need. But I wanted to end this with, Ms. Brown is not leaving on a bad note. She did not leave us high and dry. She did not let anyone down. She's not leaving because we were mad at her. She's mad at us. She's leaving because she's done so well. She's going to represent her hometown. And thank you all, and thank her, and thank Tristan for all you've done. And that's all I have.
I just want to say ditto. I am working very hard, we are working very hard to find us a new band director who is outstanding and who we will support. Children who join the band, sometimes that's all they have.
Yeah.
Sometimes the band, speaking of crying, sometimes the band is the only reason a child goes to school. Because it's the one thing that they can do that not everybody can. And it is so important to build this program back up to where it was. And yes, Anna Brown has done an outstanding job of that. She brought stability when there was none. She brought compassion when there was very little. And she brought talent and dedication to that position. I am so proud of her for getting a position in her hometown, and I get it. Look where I am. And so we need to find someone who will be equally as skilled and amazing as she is. And I want you to know that I'm putting hours a day into this, just myself. And I know the district is too. I'm talking to former classmates from 1992. When I graduated from college. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking for someone to fill those shoes and to be who we need them to be. So what I'd like to ask the community is to do the same thing. If you hear somebody, oh, my son's in music school, really? You know, bring him here and let's interview him or whatever. And so I just want to say that. I don't want to keep us any later, but we're on it. I want to assure the band parents and Gamba parents that we're on it, and I have full confidence that we'll find somebody outstanding and we'll get this ball rolling.
Excellent. Anybody else? All right, the board will hold an executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee or official.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mrs. Milliken Dixon.
Yes.
Mrs. Ortiz.
Yes.
Mr. Pierson.
Yes.
Mrs. Cybulski.
Yes.
Mrs. Craig.
Yes. 9:04.
Are we doing business after?
We will have no new business after we come out of executive session. Thank you and have a great evening.